What's up, YouTube? Chase Bristow, the horny homemaker here. I'm just getting back from the grocery store. And I have a little proposition for my fans. Since I'm like less than 200 away from 1,000 subscribers, I have decided that once I get 1,000, I'm gonna do a video that I did that got me over 100,000 views and get high on whipped cream again. But that's not why I'm doing this video. And now I'm not going to be singing or dancing. This is just, I like to dress nice when I go out. I don't care if it is just to go to the grocery store. But I'm not going to show you my bed, but I did get a mattress. It's not made, and a good homemaker never shows off something that isn't perfect. So, we'll save the mattress for another day, and I rearranged my dead room too. I'm going to show you guys that in the next video or so. But what's hot in here? I'm not doing a little striptease video. I'm just getting out of these nice clothes so they're not coated with sweat. Throw them in here just for the purpose of saving time on this video and deal with them after the camera stops rolling. Yes, I put my clothes in my... Who's to say I can't, you know? If you live alone and you have a very small apartment, you don't have that much use for food. You just... not that much use, but you don't have a lot of food in your kitchen, and you don't have spaces for dressers and what have you. Don't have a lot of closet space. Bam! You have your kitchen cabinets to put your food in. But my issue in this video is I'm going to tell you exactly why I have like a huge problem with the way UPS and FedEx and now DoorDash all operate. Okay, now imagine, if you will, that Santa that I had to go outside at the same place I showed you where that milk was in the short. That Santa, let's say it was not bought by me and bought by somebody else. Okay, let's hypothetically here use our imagination. Let's sit back and use our imaginations here. Okay. Actually, I'm going to be putting my food away while I talk to you guys. Paint a picture in your head for a while. I'll be a little imaginary Bob Ross and make some happy little accidents in your mind. I didn't buy that channel. It wasn't mine. I didn't order it. Somebody else did. And that Santa has nothing to do with me, okay? But some old lady who loves her grandson and wants to provide for him because he's had a very bad life. He's always going to the hospital, always has doctor visits, in poor health, and he sees this thing and really wants it. His grandmother can barely afford to pay her rent, and she's got a few dollars to her name at the end of it. All her bills are paid off. She only got a few months. I mean, a few bucks after all that. So, she wants to create a better life because the kids' parents, they don't do anything. They're as abusive as CPS will allow. So, she goes and scrounges and saves and sacrifices, practically killing herself just so her grandson can have this channel. Now, what does UPS do? No, what does FedEx do? FedEx brings this thing to an apartment complex, to her apartment complex that's in the ghetto, which is all she could afford, and leaves it right at the door. The same place as it was when I got it. Now there's some very shady people sitting outside, passing the blunt, and they see this thing, and they take it, and they open it up and see what it is, and being high and stoned and shit, and strung out and stupid, they decide to set it on fire, put firecrackers in it, and just destroy it, and then leave it on the side of the road about 50 miles away. That could have been, all that shit could have been avoided, and the child could have that Santa if they dropped it off at the fucking door of the apartment, at that person's apartment door instead of outside. And that's FedEx. And DoorDash, suppose it wasn't me getting that milk, okay? Suppose it wasn't me getting the milk. Suppose it was a woman who doesn't have any money and has to scrounge and rush around and do a lot of hustling, a lot of speed hustling to make enough money to order the milk, because she's in the middle of baking, because she's got some people coming over and they are coming over for dinner. She doesn't have time to go out, and she barely has enough money for that milk that she needed for her recipe. Well, DoorDash brings it, drops it off, and there's some homeless guy sitting across the street who hadn't had a thing to eat all day, nothing to drink, and sees that sitting there and goes up and grabs it and guzzles the shit down. Now that lady's fucked and broke. Now that's FedEx, that's DoorDash. Now let's do UPS, okay? Let's say I didn't order 3 vapes. Somebody else did. Somebody a lot like me ordered those 3 vapes, who has a lot of mental instabilities about him, a lot of problems where he would lash out and get very unstable and be a danger to himself and others if he wasn't properly medicated. Now, say this individual also likes to be a slut and likes to have random hookups just to have someone to talk to, or someone to show affection, because his parents never showed him affection growing up. So those medications will not let his soldier rise to battle. That person loves a good performance, but he can't. There's no way he could give a standing ovation when the performance is going on. So he quit his medication and has been off of it for 10 years, but he replaced it with nicotine, cigarettes, tobacco, nicotine became his substitute. And if he goes without it for too long, he's a basket case. He will flip out. He will beat somebody up just for looking at him the wrong way. So he's got a very stressful day coming up, and he had ordered 3 vapes so he could be calm, cool, and collected. And UPS didn't even leave a note on the door and just scanned it as an attempted delivery. So he calls the company and he tells them what's going on. They said that he'll get a call back. He never gets a call. So he just waits again the next day. He puts his phone number on a piece of paper and grabs Band-Aid from the first aid kit because he doesn't even have Scotch tape put on the door. And he puts it on the door with his number for the UPS man to contact him if he can't, when he gets there, If he can't get in the building to knock on my apartment. On his apartment. And so he also creates a UPS account, has a nickname, apartment 311, knock on door. That's his nickname. Well, the second day comes and goes. With all that, you would think that the UPS man would take some initiative. Nope, same exact shit. So the third day, he just gives up. And he has a stressful day. The package wasn't delivered. Again, no note. And the second day, after the second attempt was failed, he tried to reroute the package, but couldn't because there was no note. And you need a door note with the note number to be able to reroute the package to go pick it up at a UPS location. So he tries to do that. And you need a note. But the UPS driver did not leave a note. So the third day comes, and he just knows at this point he's going to jail. He's going to jail or he's going to a mental hospital. Because it's been 2 days without any nicotine. So he has a stressful day and things snowball and he is a loose cannon and he goes off and just beats the shit out of people. Gets into a huge fight. Winds up going to jail for about 10 years for assaulting about 5 people in a nicotine rage. And his bipolar was, and about 10 years of bipolar was unleashed and unlocked on about 5 people, putting them all in the emergency room. That could have been avoided if the UPS driver actually followed the instructions, got into the apartment complex, and knocked on the apartment door of the individual. But something to think about. Or imagine, if you will, that it wasn't the vapes. Suppose it was something like diabetes medication for an old lady. I live in an apartment full of senior citizens. That could have been somebody's life-saving medication. And because it wasn't brought to the person's door and there was no note to reroute it, that person could be laying in their apartment dead somewhere because the medication wasn't brought to them. They couldn't get the medication. All that shit you need to sit there and think about. And then do something about it, because I don't know what the first thing I'm going to do. Except for I'm going to contact the news and tell them pretty much the same damn thing I just discussed with you. But remember, guys, stay horny.